Hey guys, welcome to Sketch Day Live. It is Transportation Tuesday. Just a heads up, because I forgot to mention on Monday or even Sunday. But we are doing our weekly challenge, and this week's challenge is architecture. So that's what we'll be doing, architecture. I won't be doing that today. I'll save that for tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. But if you guys are looking to submit your work, you'll want to do something architecture related, and you can submit it on the Discord server. That's where we hang out, and if you need help, advice, whatever, there's a great community there. I can't promise that I'll answer everything, but tons of super talented people there, so feel free to join in and hang out. All right, I'm just gonna keep warming up here with a little sketch. I was working on some jets. Do I have my ink? I don't have my ink. Oh no. I'll be right back. Back. All right, how do we do this? Okay, we're good. Woo, we are back. Yeah, I got this fountain pen. Thought I'd just try it out, mess with it. Hey Applejacks, what's up? Maybe this is the worst time of day to stream because no one's here, but we'll keep going. We'll have fun nonetheless. Anyhow, it's pretty cool. I've been kind of playing with fountain pen here a little bit. It's definitely a different feel, tell you what. Just a little dip pen. But anyhow, just playing with some different tools. So far it has a really nice feel in terms of thick to thin. You get some really thin lines. It's actually a manga nib that I got. So that's been fun to play with. Try things out. Special thanks again to Monsieur Mr. Paul Sohi for the beats. Final Kaiju. I think his link's in the video description you can check out. But anyhow, it's been fun playing with this pen. What a week. Week? I swear time just feels weird right now. It's like so much can happen in 7 days, 5 days, whatever, 2 days. Never quite know what day it is even. Do I have any advice for anyone wanting to go into architecture? I don't know like architecture as a profession really. I just pretend. I'm a wannabe architecture illustrator. So I like to just draw houses and stuff. Maybe we'll do a quick one today just to kick off, but I would say as with anything really, it's about just hard work and dedication. I think any kind of design really though is a combination of aesthetics, right? So developing, creating some sorts of aptitude for doing cool things or things that are aesthetic, but then also understanding how things work. So I think if you have that mindset, you're probably okay. If it's helpful, I could ask some architecture friends of mine. Then next time, if you remind me, I'll see if I can give you a better answer. But that's the way I like to think about most creative things anyways. Like I forgot to include my wing there. So I like to think about most creative things. Anyhow. Hopefully I don't have a colossal mess with this pen. It's a little nerve-wracking. 4:30 a.m. Ooh, you're working with your architectural design studio. So yeah, what tips do you have, Mystery? Or someone wanting to do architecture? What tips do you have? So this is Super Black India ink is what I'm using. Just got it on recommendation from a friend. Thought I'd try it out here. I'm still doing my sketch challenge. I already made a mistake. Look at that. Still doing my sketch challenge. I'll just turn this into some detail. And if I had prepared better for the stream, I would have brought some of those sketches. But yeah, I've just been working away. on that. It is Transportation Tuesday though, so if you guys have anything transportation related you'd like to see, let me know. Whether it's a car, boat, snowmobile, whatever you got. Yeah, this is gonna take some getting used to. I'm already like making mistakes. I want to sketch faster or draw faster. And also the orientation of the pen affects how the lines show up. So that's been interesting, getting used to those variations as we go. Anyhow, so like I said, we have a Discord community. Feel free to join that. The link is in the video description, at least on YouTube. This is actually out of place. It should be rotated a bit more, like this. It should be more like that. Anyhow, the Discord is in the video description. Check that out. Curious? If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you're watching on Instagram, you'll want to head over to youtube.com/sketchaday.com. Check out the video, and that link will be in the description if you want to join the Discord. All right. Or just head to sketchaday.com/Discord. How many pages am I up to? I'm behind. I will admit, I'm like 3 or 4 days behind. So what would that be? Theoretically, I should be at 130 pages today, but I'm only at about 70 pages if I recall. So I've got catching up to do. I will catch up and finish that. No worries. Do you guys use fountain pens at all? Dip pens? The Lamy got me curious, the Safari pen, but the tip on the Safari pen is not very sharp. So I'm actually liking the sharpness of this pen. The only issue is it feels like it's really scraping the paper, and it's a bit unnerving. It's a bit unnerving. So that's what I'll, just because you can like hear and feel it just scraping the paper. It's kind of crazy, but I do like the variety of stroke you can get, you know, depending on how hard you push, how much ink comes out. So far I'm just learning. It's always good to try new things though. If you are used to doing things one way, try a different tool, different setup, different whatever, you know, different type of pen even. So you want to mix it up. You don't want to be doing the same thing all the time. Let's see, what's new with me? Not too much really. I am giving a workshop to some students in the UK on Thursday. I always get a little bit anxious before I give a workshop, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know what it is, and I've done many of them before, but for some reason always is a little bit nerve-wracking. As if I'm not busy enough. I need to follow up with the Advanced Design crew, but I started another podcast with some friends. It's a little bit different, more grown-up topics, but I'll share that on the Discord probably at some point for those curious. All right, let me do a quick chat check-in here. Not very many people, but it's okay. We'll have a little intimate show today, no big deal. Akshat, thank you. Applejack, yeah, 130. The goal is 15 pages a day, and that takes about 2 hours if I sit and do it all at the same time. But really what I've been doing is just, you know, on my breaks, I'll just kind of spread things out and then try and get a little bit done here and there. So today after the stream, I'm gonna sit down. I haven't even eaten yet today. I've just been busy. Recorded an interview for this just for a friend of mine, just helping out. But I did a little interview thing, and then just haven't had time to eat. So I'm gonna make some tacos. I guess that's appropriate. Taco Transportation Tuesday. Transportation and tacos. But yeah, I'm getting used to the pen. I'm liking it. I do wish I didn't have to like replenish it from time to time. I kind of wish I could just keep drawing. So anyhow, I'll eat after the show, get it done, get some more drawings done for my challenge. I'm really excited though. I feel like every time I do these challenges for myself, I get better. If you guys are doing it as well, I'd love to hear how it's going for you, or if you're doing any sort of challenge. Hello, Lori, what's up? Line says, I have lots of calligraphy pens. The nibs are practically the same, but you get different shapes. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way? I moved the mic back a little bit, so if it's problematic, let me know. Yeah, this is a G nib. I don't even know what that means. I'm just getting into it, so I'll learn more as time goes. But I do like how black this ink is. And I have a bunch of nibs, so even if I mess this one up, I'm not too worried. But it is specifically a manga inking pen. I thought it would be cool to use on just, you know me, I like to do these robot whatever things. So I thought it'd be fun to try a different pen. You know, and I like the thick to thin so far that I'm getting. Kids and I have been watching Star Wars all over again, so we made it to episode 8. Hey Latrice, what's up? Oh, architectural overlay with the pen, interesting. So anyhow, we're on episode 8, The Last Jedi. Just finished it up last night. You know, when it came out, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but when it came out, I didn't really like it. But as I've rewatched it, I like it more. It's one of those movies that I think, because of some controversial things that happen in the movie, you can like hate on it pretty easily. But when you watch it again, this is probably my, I don't know, 4th or 5th time watching it, but when you watch it again, you can kind of see why they did certain things and just the continuity of the story. So I've been enjoying that. I've got no love for the first 3 though. Man, I guess if any of them, maybe Revenge of the Sith, just because you get to see what happens and all that. Hey, Eric Designs. What kind of tips do I have for improving sketching besides sketching more? It's a good question, I guess. I mean, I know it's probably reductive for me to say, oh, just sketch more, but how you sketch does matter. So make sure that you're following tutorials or people that know what they're doing. There's a lot of stuff out there. I'm not perfect at what I do either, but you know, I try to be honest in my presentation of work anyways. So appreciate you following. So make sure you're following the right people, people that actually know what they're doing. I would say the other part of sketching is learning to see. And by that I mean sketching from observation. So you can sketch from imagination when you're ready. I'm also only going to go like for an hour today just because I am starving. No headache yet, but I know it's going to happen. So yeah, draw from observation, right? So set up a little scene, or if you like drawing houses or something like that. You know, so I used to, at least when it was warmer, it's cold where I live right now. I would sit outside. And just draw. You know, draw trees, draw people, go to coffee shops, whatever. And the whole reason for that is it's connecting the dots between what you learn and what you see. Okay, so what I mean to say is things like perspective, you can teach in a classroom, you can teach in a vacuum, but it doesn't really come together until you start sketching real things and you can see those real things in place. Yeah, exactly, Mystery. Look at real objects. Hey, what's up? What's this? Abdecimade? Hello? Yeah, so look at real objects, look at real things, and that's going to give you some good stuff to practice. And then, you know, compare what you draw with what you see. And if you feel like you're successful, you know, you'll be able to kind of integrate that knowledge. The other thing that helps you learn to draw, honestly, which took me years to figure out, but I say it at the end of every show, at least more recently, and that is take some time to teach someone. So once you've learned something, take some time to teach. All right, that's gonna help you integrate that knowledge a bit better. Yeah, I am digging this pen. It's pretty fun. All right, so what transportation thing do you want to see on the show? Hit me up with suggestions. Is it a certain kind of car? Is it some tricky bit? Something that doesn't make sense? What would you guys like me to do today? Otherwise, I'll just do whatever, but I'd like to hear your suggestions. Love hearing your suggestions, always. Ooh, we're up to 20 people, 21 now. Nice. Thanks for joining, everyone. You aren't allowed to draw the same thing. How to represent these invisible links that hold. Oh, interesting. What are you studying? Architecture? Industrial design? I was talking with a friend today, the one that interviewed me, and I actually taught I taught them in school for a bit, just a drawing class, but we were talking about education, and it got me thinking about things I wish I'd learned in school. People talk about, well, not people, I guess you could say I had the impression that design can change the world, or art, or whatever. And on one hand, that's true in the sense that we can create things that mean something in a moment, maybe encapsulate some message or something. But I think real change comes when we take our creativity and apply it to things that are already impactful. So in other words, if you're one of those people who's like, oh yeah, design's gonna change the world, the go-kart, all right. Peter, that's a great question. I'll get to that. But if you're one of those people who is like, design's gonna change the world, ask yourself, what if I took my design skills and I applied those to something that wasn't design but actually impactful, like politics or policy, or your local government, or whatever is most impactful to you and where you live. It'd be interesting, right? It'd be interesting if designers, I've seen where designers have gotten into like the restaurant business, or architects. I think there's an architect who I did it again. I think there's an architect who started a restaurant that's pretty popular. I know that sounds vague, but I just don't remember the name. Anyhow, it would be interesting to see Lebbeus Woods. Okay. It'd be interesting to see how design could be applied in those other, or creativity as a whole, in those other spaces, right? It's like, what could you do or come up with? How might you challenge convention? Use those design skills. And I don't mean just like, putting together a brochure, or just making something random, but I mean to say, applying creative thinking in a way that might be unexpected for that industry. I really like how black this ink is. I think I may have put too much down. It does kind of bleed, but I do like how black the ink is. It's pretty insane. Maybe you can't tell on the camera here, but it has a really nice feel to it. Now I'm gonna have to modify my pen guide to include calligraphy pens and what I've learned so far. Thanks, Lions, by the way, for the edits. I know I didn't message you personally, but thank you for helping me out. I don't think I'm too far off, so appreciate the help. So Peter asks, what thoughts do I have on loose sketching and what do I consider to be too loose? Virgil Abloh has a master's in architecture. I didn't realize that. So yeah, loose versus tight. It's actually a topic I cover in my inking guide that'll be out soon. But I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. It has to do with a few things. I think it has to do with confidence in your lines. Right, what's too loose? What's too tight? Ultimately, it's up to you to decide, which is probably not the answer you want. What I mean to say is, you know, consider your audience. Who are you communicating with? Are you communicating with other designers? Other designers have a higher tolerance, for example, for things being loose. And I've said this before on the show, that sometimes with clients even, I have to change how I sketch depending on the client, because if they can't interpret something, if it has to be perfect, then I have to up the fidelity of what I'm doing to get the message across, and I may take a different approach with regards to sketching than I might otherwise. So think about your audience, okay? And then I think there's also what I call, anyways, I don't know if this is the right term, but I call it the idea of being line economy. So I try to be efficient with those lines, even if they're a little bit off. And if your lines are off, but they work together, then that can essentially create kind of a style for you in your sketch. So it's not all bad if it's like I got something in my nib there. It's not all bad if it's quote unquote messy or scratchy. I know some people like super tight sketches. I don't personally, just because it can kind of suck the life out of your drawing. I think. Okay, I'm gonna have to wash this later, I think. I'm gonna put this aside for now. Let's keep going. Aw, love you too, Lines. Thank you. Okay, so I got a request for a go-kart. So that's what I'm gonna do first. This is a first. I don't think I've ever done a go-kart. Pretty sure I haven't done a go-kart before. Hey, Annie. Or Anne. I'm not sure if it's Annie or Anne. Storm Girl, hello. Alright. Anna M. Designer, what's up? Okay. Go-kart. I don't even know what these look like, but I assume I would want to do it with someone driving, so I just need to get the proportion here. Go-kart. Let's see. Let's see. As you know, I like to look up reference where possible, so just a quick check, right? A couple little pictures here, get a sense for proportion, feel, whatever. Seems like a very tiny vehicle. I always get tripped up when I'm sketching. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. Batman Tumbler style go-kart. Anyhow, I always get a little tripped up when the wheel proportions are a little bit different, so I'm just gonna reference. Let's find a good image that this one works. Oh, it's on YouTube. So I will take a screenshot and blow this up. Just a sec here. My brain's running slow because I'm low on energy. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. It's crazy how delirious you can get when you don't eat. And just like spacey. Alright. Spacey, not Stacy. What's up, Mecha Art? How you doing? Bye-bye, Mystery. No worries. How much should you sketch per day? As much as you can. Oh, tweezers. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. How would I suggest correcting skew? Are you talking about like when you draw a vertical line, Lori? Is that kind of what you're referring to? Curious. Alright, so I'm just gonna sketch a go-kart, tiny wheels. And oh, you've got the same one? Yeah, I did a quick dip pen sketch here of these two aircraft things. Just playing around and trying some different tools and whatnot. Okay, so it looks like, you know, I'm gonna sketch some legs in here, maybe a central steering column. And person with helmet, I'll just do that round for now. Alright, something like that. Okay. Tiny wheels. It's weird doing tiny wheels. Tell you what. Actually, this needs to stick out a little bit more from the side. But it is weird doing tiny wheels whenever you do them. And then I'm gonna do some sort of return here. And maybe make this a little bit F1 style. Let's bring this forward. Back like so. Figure out where our other wheel goes. Something like that. And I'll just block in. Looks like there's some sort of engine thing here, but I'll just block that in and maybe include just some cool fin here. We'll make it work. So I've never done one of these before, which is why I'm using the gray marker method here. All right, just so I can kind of map it out, plan it out before I commit to everything. Sorry, I heard a little sound in the background. I was like, what? What is that? What's going on? I'm gonna zoom out for you for the grammars so you can see a little bit more there. All right, a little shadow. So again, in terms of perspective, right, you can kind of see what I'm trying to do there, front to back. So we've got our perspective set. Just like so. I don't know if this ink actually plays well with marker. So what I'll probably do is do some marker work first. All right, marker airbrush maybe. Airbrush would be nice right there, also on the side, but I think I'll keep it marker. Or maybe some sort of linkage thing through there. All right. So I think I'll do marker first and then I'll be good. I'm gonna make this red. Some sort of red. Do I make my living mostly sketching? I'm a designer. Sketching's for fun. Does it have a tiny... Maybe there's a gerbil in here. We don't know. We really don't know. There could be a gerbil inside. Totally possible. So I'm going to try and do this with mostly marker. Then I'll do the lines. No pun intended. Let's keep it a quick old sketch. Get some red here. Some shadow in here. Light catching edge, so I won't show anything there. Okay. All right. And what else would be red? Just gotta figure that out. Maybe this fin. That's it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna send you that. So once I get a handle on life. You ever feel like life gets out of control and you're just like trying to catch up again? That's how I've been feeling lately. Sometimes you just gotta pause and breathe and be like, okay, we're back. Sketch Day Live, by the way, thanks for joining, hanging out. I know it's later than normal. Maybe this is better, I don't know. Reminder to myself, I need to eat in general, because my stomach's like hurting now. Because I haven't eaten all day. Alright, so we got that little bit. I'm gonna actually curve this out a little bit more. Like so. Get our wheels done. Let's do 7 and 9. Sorry I missed your question, Peter. What are my thoughts on marketing controlling a lot of what industrial design does? I was watching an interview with a designer that said if marketing was good at their job, they could market anything. That's true. I don't know if you're still listening, let me know and then I'll answer, but if you're gone, maybe I'll save it for next time. So I'll wait for your response, Peter. It's a great question though. And I guess I'll kind of answer it in a roundabout way if you are here. Okay, cool. So thanks for responding. So one of the things as a designer that takes a long time to realize, at least took me a long time to realize, is design is never about you, or it shouldn't be anyways. If you're designing something, you're always going to be working for or at the behest of someone else. Sometimes that someone else might be yourself if you have your own company, but for the most part, you're going to be doing stuff for other people. So marketing has a say because design is also a subset of capitalism, and that's okay in the sense that, you know, it's all about supply and demand and increase in profit, that kind of thing. Introducing efficiencies in a company. Company can make money certain ways. So one of those ways is to sell more product. Okay, the other is to reduce what's called operating costs, and another way is to wheel has some serious camber issues, and then another way is to okay, so supply costs, sell more stuff. I think of the other one. Oh, or raise the prices of the product. Okay, so what does this have to do with anything about design? Well, it's rare, I think, to find a company that's going to put quote unquote design first outside of marketing. And, you know, design in many senses can be perceived or construed as inherently altruistic, in the sense that, you know, are you designing things to sell them or are you designing things to solve problems? Well, typically you design them to solve problems. Okay. So what does marketing have to do with that? Well, marketing's job is really to try and get as much of a return on that investment as possible. Okay, by creating perceptions that lead to sales. So if I buy this product, here's what that means for me personally or my family or whatever the case may be. All right, so because products say things about people, and hopefully this is making sense to you. So yes, with better marketing, you could sell more stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean that the product will be better, but a good marketing team, yeah, they can sell anything, right? But design is inherently challenging, I think, because it is a subset of capitalism in the sense that you're making stuff to sell it. It's a side effect or maybe a secondary function in many ways that design solves problems, because the objective of the company is not necessarily to solve problems. Oh hey JJ, thank you, I'm glad you like that. JJ picked up the marker guide. If you guys don't know what that is, it is a little guide I put together to help you get started with your markers if you don't know where to begin. Anyhow, so maybe some companies start out that way, like, oh man, I wish I had this, and they make their product. But ultimately, as a company matures, you start to focus less on those first order goals that you had, and more on increase, on satisfying your investors and so forth. And so many times design can take like a back seat and be seen as an expense rather than an investment, and that's challenging. You know, it is challenging. Okay, I gotta decide on how to get this dude looking like a go-kart racer. I think we'll do a two-tone, maybe blue, some sort of blue in here. So just a reminder, what I'm doing here is I'm doing all the line or the marker work first, and then I'll do the line work afterward. It's kind of what I'm doing here. Ornaments and crime. It talks about design, economic growth relationship. Yeah, you kind of hit this point, at least I did in my career, where I was just like, maybe we're not solving the problem, we're just creating problems. It's a dilemma for sure, in the sense that you make more stuff ends up in landfills, potentially. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, just potentially. And you kind of have to reconcile with yourself what that means for you. At least I had to reconcile that with myself. I shouldn't be prescriptive or try and infer anything about anyone. JJ, you removed your message. Not a fan, after all. Just as I was pumping the marker guide, JJ was like, JK. But yeah, that's available on the website if you're interested. Sketchday.com. Alright, I know the foot's supposed to be here and I shaded in, so I'm gonna have to fix that with, this is a very short human, by the way. But I'm gonna have to fix that with some black pen. Okay, so Lori, you're asking about fixing, hopefully you're still here, I didn't mean to ignore your question. Fixing slant in your sketches. Some of that you can do And this, I wouldn't say this sketch is necessarily a good example of what you're talking about, but I do understand what you're talking about. A lot of times I'll just have to start over, or if you're lucky, you can correct using line weight. So if you look at your sketch and you realize something's off, many times you can, I'll go eat eventually, and a lot of times you can just using line weight kind of fix things. So at least that's what I do anyways. So now that I've done the marker, I was gonna use the felt pen, but just use the trusty Papermate Flair here. Could be a kid, right? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean there. Oh, JJ? Yeah, maybe. I have no idea. No clue. So yeah, now that I have the tone in, I can add some details, whatever. Make it look somewhat like some sort of engine business back here. And the leg, yeah, so if I drop this down a bit, does that mean oh, mecha art. Alright, so maybe some sort of two-tone thing. I guess have some sort of seatbelt or strap here. Alright, get these hands in. I was thinking some sort of driving gloves. That's why I put the blue there. Oh, I messed up. So I'm gonna have to fix that, but it's okay. So yeah, Lori, here's an example where I messed up, but now because the lines have more visual weight and presence in the marker, I can come in and correct some things here. All right, just with that line weight, and now this misshading on the marker doesn't show up as much. Oh, this could be a kid. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. I thought you meant JJ. But you're right. Could be a kid. Like I said, it's weird. It's weird when you're used to drawing like a car, and then someone's like, "Hey, draw a go-kart," because I want to make the wheels bigger, but I'm not going to. You know what I mean? I'm just making up some mechanical linkage here. Very well may not work or wouldn't work, but I haven't actually gone in and looked at everything and decided, okay, this is exactly what I need. And I guess this goes back to the question of like loose versus tight or sloppy or whatever. Most times I would say with my sketches, I'm trying to capture the essence of something and not realistically represent it with a certain absolute, because that's not fun to me. I like to leave a little bit to interpretation. Yeah, I like to leave a little to interpretation, so. Do I recommend getting gloves for sketching on iPad? If you want to look like a dork, you can, but just kidding. Some people like them, I don't. That's my answer. If you're sketching on an iPad all day, I will say I can understand the glove thing. Yeah, this is some kid. This has to be a kid. If you're sketching all day, it would have to be. You could use it if your hands get sweaty or whatever. I just don't like the feeling personally. I feel like I messed up the visor, so I'm gonna have to fix it with some white. Fear not. Drawings just tend to screw to the right. Yeah, it could have to. It could have to. I'm losing my mind. It could do with. It could do somewhat with how you hold your marker or your pen, and you know how much the paper is rotated. I know when the paper is rotated for me, anyways, that many times I have noticed that things have a skew to them. I would also suggest, Lori, as you're drawing, I know you use pencil to start, which is totally fine. I've actually been doing pencil more. But I would say before you commit to your pen stuff, maybe like get up out of your seat, look at it, and then you can correct stuff before you commit. So at least you're working in that way that allows for you to check before you commit. So that's what I would say. What's up, Wang? Language, Wang. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. 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 All right, so what vehicle shall I sketch next? I think it will be my last one because my stomach's like actually hurting. Yeah, I mean, you can rotate the paper. You just have to like check from time to time. That's what I would say. I wanted this to feel more curved, but it's not feeling curved, so I'm gonna try and do some stuff here. Maybe I just need some of them go-kart graphics. Oh yeah, my friend Wang came onto my Instagram and was spewing profanities like a maniac.
I don't know her.
Everyone always wants a motorcycle, but I don't have any other suggestions yet. Priority goes to YouTube, of course, so. Catamaran rare perspective, okay. Is that a boat? What is that? Caterham F1 car. I mean, the go-kart is kind of like an F1 car. Kind of. Right? Does that count? Oh, Roshan. Alright, I'm gonna shut this Instagram stream down. Submarine? Submarines are fun. Thank you for joining my YouTube, Roshan, instead of being like other people hanging out on my Instagram.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, they have to learn in a go-kart first? Interesting. I had no idea. Hey, Roshan, what school did you go to? Zuckergram sucks to watch, says Roshan. Yeah, YouTube's better, for sure. Because you get the full view. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do not. I'm hungry. Yeah, I can do a quick one. I kind of want to be done with the sketch, frankly, too. Alright, so I did get a request from Submarine and asked on Instagram, so I will honor that. I've done plenty of motorcycles. In fact, if you go to the sketchaday.com website, then hit video list. Got a list of videos here. You can just do a quick search. Motorcycle. Look at that. Boom. 1, 2. There's 2 right there. 2 on the website. So 2 that I picked out anyways that you can check out. All right. I'm kind of done with this one. I'm gonna be done. I don't love it either. So the next request was for some sort of go-kart, then F4 3 2 1. I had no idea there was an F4 race car either. Oops. You guys are looking at all my stats. I didn't realize there was a, what do you call it, F4 car. Now you see the chats and you can see how many people are there and all that stuff. Nothing compromising there anyways. All right, let's try and do some sort of F1 car. I know they have wider wheels. I'm trying to remember what they even look like. Peak there. Wheel off the side. I'll just do some sort of wide thing. Do they have like a little visor? I don't know. I feel like they should. And if they don't, shame on them. Each level the speed increases. I had no idea that go-karts were the precursor to F1 racing. Learn something every day, I guess. The more you know. So this is kind of just from memory, and I'm probably messing up stuff here. Isn't there like some sort of intake? Right? They have like some sort of intake thing here. I think. If I recall correctly. All right, so this is why drawing from observation is important. Okay, let me get back to that initial point. So when you draw from observation, you essentially put data points in your head of what something might look like. Okay, so again, if you're drawing and you want it to feel credible, it has to at least be grounded in some reality. Do F1 cars have wheels? Yes, they do. Right? Do they have foils? Yes, they do. Is the suspension exactly like I sketched? Probably not. So my goal is to do things that look somewhat credible. And again, like I've mentioned before, if you break it down in your head, you can usually draw pretty much anything. Man, those tacos are in for a world of trouble when I'm done streaming. Whew! I'm so hungry. I actually drew an F1 for a client. It was a 5-figure project. That was fun. Told Roshan about that one before, but aluminum foil. They have a halo. Looks vintage. Okay. Yeah, that was a fun project. Someone asked me if I got paid to draw. Sometimes. But I wouldn't say it's like my main shtick. I'm a creative problem solver. I like to take on all sorts of projects and things. In fact, I have 2 furniture projects that I need to do for some clients. That is design and build furniture. Looks vintage. Yeah, I have no idea. I guess the intake doesn't happen over the driver or something. I don't know. I'm not sketching a driver either. But whatever. Whatevs. Keeping this one black and white real quick. There's a really talented car design dude, Ernest Sakarian. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but if you look up Ernest car design, you might find him. But I assume it's a him, but I shouldn't. There's my inherent bias to how I think about things. I try to catch myself sometimes. In any case, he does these like really cool wide-bodied vehicles. And does them using like a a ballpoint or Biro pen. There's beautiful drawings on Instagram. So I'll have to look him up at some point. Share with you. What are the furniture projects? I am designing a custom sideboard for a client. For their new home. They just got married. So just a modern sideboard. So I'm going to be designing and building it. Those are always fun. The only time I take those projects though are when I have full creative freedom. I'm just to that point where I can do that. I can say, yeah, I'll do XYZ for you if I have full creative freedom. It's kind of nice. And then the other one is a funny one. It's a piece of furniture that's meant to house some memorabilia from the TV show Survivor. But it's gonna be a really cool table. It's like a table with a glass enclosure on top. I'll share the sketches once I get into it and start doing it. It's not gonna be under NDA or anything like that. So anyhow, it's pretty fun to get those. I do like working with my hands quite a bit. I guess there wouldn't be that much of a gap if this thing's that close to the ground, so I'm going to move the shadow back here. Have any voles? You know, I guess let's do another F1. I thought I had voles in my yard for a hot minute. Now that you mentioned voles, we can talk voles. Voles are little critters that can dig into like yards stuff. Dig into your ground. Oh, my stomach is hurting. You can dig into the ground and cause problems. So I noticed at my house there was there were spots where overnight there'd be like things dug up, and so I called this dude and I was like, hey, can you help out here? I thought it was voles for sure, right? Just looking at the little spots and stuff. But it actually turned out to be a very chonky raccoon. I have not caught said raccoon. I don't want to mess with said raccoon because raccoons are terrifying to me. They look snuggly, but they can mess you up, man. I'm surrounded by animals I didn't grow up with, so I'm always like very cautious. Yeah, so I have no idea if the foil goes all the way across here or fins, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Just doing some F1 style from memory, from the old noggin. Super quick. Yeah, I caught the raccoon on my camera, my outdoor camera. One night, it was big enough that it picked it up and thought it was a human. Just this big old raccoon. I was like, I'm not messing with that. No freaking way. I've caught deer on it. I've caught someone trying to break into my house. I think I did show that on the stream a while back. All right, 2 F1 cars, and yes, my stomach is freaking killing me. So I'm gonna do a quick submarine for Anne. She asked so nicely. I've done these before, but the gist of it, at least the way I see it, is, you know, plan your design out, whether it's proportionally or otherwise. You know, maybe this is like some sort of stealth submarine. It's kind of cool. Little faceted design. So plan it out. And then I like to sketch the full shape first. Just on a plane. Or we can do something like that. And then now maybe do these faceted bits. I guess I didn't quite translate this, so if I wanted to kind of recover some of that, like, just a striking shape here, what I might do is, let's see, I can draw a line here, and then just pull back. But now I don't like it as much, so let's do another one. I wonder if I can save this. Let me think about it. I wonder if I can save this sketch. I'm mad at myself for doing this part instead of figuring out how to transition, you know, from this thin front here down. I feel like, okay, so if I were drawing it in this view, it would be something like this, probably. So this would have to come down. It gets a little bit complicated, but because you got to think about where the planes are going and all that. So let's just agree that this view is faulty, and then I'll just keep rolling with it. Especially since I am a bit famished. And then something for our propulsion. Back here. Carry that through. Is that sub a sandwich? Killing me. Not literally, but. Alright, and we probably need, would we need a torpedo tube? I don't know. Maybe it's not a violent wartime submarine, but rather, I guess if it weren't a wartime sub though, why make it stealth, right? But I'll show you how you can work in this way though, and then overlay if you want. Right? So you could take this sketch. Why do I have only 30 viewers? Ask YouTube that question. I'm not sure. Anyhow, but you could take this and then just overlay it if you wanted to do something a bit more traditional. Do that fairly easily, like so. What if the torpedo tube was a jalapeno? That would be challenging. What if Nerf guns shot jalapenos? Instead of Nerf darts, they shot hot peppers. And they like exploded on people. I mean, it doesn't sound fun by any means. I think I'm trying to remember if submarines have fins. I'm trying to remember, but I think there's like a, you know, fin up front or something like that. Maybe some sort of rudder here we can put in. So once you've done your underlay sketch, you can always come in and do something like this, right? And then shading with pen, which is pretty quick. I'm just going to focus on the shadow core, not shading all the way to the edge, but just focusing on the shadow core here, all the way around. And that's going to give it enough of a, I guess it's more of a comic style shading. but it should communicate at least some depth. We can have some shadow here. It's like that. Around the edge. Back up. And then if you want, you can show some parts. Particularly helpful if you're trying to convey that three-dimensionality, but also we can use this for showing panels on our sub. You know, the steel plating or whatever plating that makes up the hull of our sub. Throw some rivets in, like so. Xavier, no. It should make you want to try harder. Thanks for joining, by the way. One thing I want to let you know, Xavier, is that whenever I draw and I make a mistake, I tend to point it out. Try better next time, try harder. So if you're looking to get better, I am as well. I just like practicing, hanging out, talking while drawing. And I, share some tips along the way, some advice. So yeah, come on, stay a while. Don't get discouraged. So right here, I also have a little bit of a round, if you will, on the sub. So you can add a couple secondary lines here, just in quick succession. Right, maybe a couple gaps. And that's just gonna help show the roundness of the sub. And just to break it up here with my shadow core lines that I've sketched in, I'll also add some of these little hatch lines so it doesn't feel necessarily like chrome. Good, I'm glad that helped, Anne. And then, maybe just a couple bubbles here and there, just to give it some context. I mean, like I said, I've done a sub before, and adding the seafloor, things like that can help contextualize your sketch a bit more, so it feels. Look at that little cheat. Right, I had drawn through first, but just using that same line. Using that same line to show a break in our stabilizing wing or rudder, fin, whatever you want to call it. And then now just on the outside, toward the bottom, I'm going to enhance the line weight, and that's going to help clean up but also ground the sketch a bit. So wasn't happy with the stealth option, but you can see we use the same perspective underlay. Just real quick, even if you have to break down the design first, you can do that. If you wanted to revisit this, and if we wanted to try some other iteration of this, I don't know what that would look like. Again, you run into problems when you do faceted surfaces, and like me, I didn't think it out first. But in any case, use this as an underlay, and then we can get our final sketch in. Do I have a spare G-nib? I do. You wanted me to use it on this sketch? Is that what you're asking? Cyber sub. Exactly. Cyber sub. And if it's moving, we can add some lines here that are kind of in perspective just to show the movement. All right, I guess if it was moving, the bubbles would be going back further, but I didn't really consider or think about that. So yeah, something like that, and hopefully that helps you out a bit. in your submarine drawing quest. You can also add text or symbols or whatever, to the sub if need be. Little texture dots as well. Whatever you got to do. Udemy. I should commit to 2021 being the year. I've been asked over the years to do Skillshare, Udemy. I've been asked by people to do courses on their platforms. I've thought about starting a teachable thing for myself. Right now YouTube's just easy and relatively low stress, and I appreciate the support you guys give me, particularly channel members and patrons with monthly contributions. That means a lot. So it's a lot. If I were going to do a course, I'd want to make sure that it's amazing. So it just take a lot of effort, but it's something that's been on my mind for sure. All right, so we did submarine. We did these quick F1 style car sketches and my weird go-kart with tiny alien human, and also kick things off with some of these space aircraft, I don't know, sketches. We even tried out a new pen. This is, what's this, Tachikawa. It's just a fountain nib pen. I gotta go clean the tip when this is all over. So thanks as always for hanging out with me, for the suggestions. Much appreciated. I will be back tomorrow. I'm planning on around, well, I have a phone call at 9, so what would that be? 8:30 Pacific. It'll be a little bit earlier, but planning on coming live. And if I miss that time, it'll be a little later in the day, but I will be live tomorrow. Much love to you. Remember, the theme for this week is architecture. So if you want to participate in the weekly sketch challenge, the theme is architecture. You can do anything that you want, as long as it shelters people. Right? It's some sort of structure. It's going to challenge your perspective and maybe how you're used to drawing. So I'll be doing some architecture stuff tomorrow, and looking forward to your suggestions, or not suggestions, but submissions as well. All right. As always, remember, passion is the process. If you've learned something today, take some time to sit with someone and explain it. That's going to help you become that much better. Special thanks to the patrons and channel members once again, and to those who contributed. Much appreciated, much love. It means a lot. I know these times are uncertain for everyone, so I don't take that lightly. So thank you very much. Be sure to check out the website for videos, resources, all that good stuff. All right, guys, take care. I'll catch you later. Peace and love.